Creators, let's address the elephant in the room today. Creator-owned comics are not for everybody. And I'm going to tell you why right now. All right, so everyone knows that when it comes to publishing comics, you have different kind of deals in place on the market. You have the work for hire deal, which is you are working for a big company like, say, Marvel, say, DC, for example, and those companies are going to pay you to work on some characters that they own. And I want to stress that it's the type of deal that you mainly see in American comics. Like if you take European comics, for example, it's a completely different system. But in American comics, a company can own 100% of a brand and have you work on it. In that case, you're pretty much a freelancer doing work for a company that pays you for something. You have to give them what they want. So they decide, and it's fair. So they pay you, you have a price per page. You sometimes have royalties on sale, but it's not every time because sometimes you're also dealing with licenses, and licenses like add up to the price of a comic book. And like of course, the budget being the budget, when you are going to sell a $4 comic or a $10 to $20 graphic novel, of course, you have to take into consideration the cost of the creative team and the cost of the license. But the work for hire is one thing. You know you have no rights, you're working for them, but at the same time, it grows your audience. It makes your name bigger, and it helps you even like create your audience when you don't have one. So I mean, it is what it is. You know what it is. You enter that deal knowing what it is, and it's fine. And it's fine that it exists on the market. Now you have the creator-owned system. As we remember, the creator-owned system started a long time ago. People like Will Eisner had like rights to their creations. Independent creators always existed and had rights to their creation. But like in the mainstream comics environment, we have to go back to 1992 and the creation of Image Comics. Now, the creator-owned deal is a different kind of deal. In the creator-owned deal, of course, the creator or the creators, when you have a team, they own 100% of the rights to their creations, but they also have to provide the creation itself. And then they have to handle 100% of the cost. And the publisher in this case is more of a service provider, more of a partner that will print it, have it distributed, sometimes marketed, but not all the time, and will be like just like a partner. Like you're going to a publisher, you want your creator on. The benefit of that, of course, is obvious, is that if the sales are really great, you get the bulk of that money back. And if there's interest from Hollywood, the publisher has nothing and you have everything. So but you also have to morph yourself into not just a writer or an artist, but also a marketer, a business manager, an entrepreneur, a community manager, someone who deals with all aspects of the creation. You're the whole food chain all by yourself. Or in the case of like 2 or 3 creators, you are that team. You have to do everything. You have to promote, you have to go to the stores and say that, hey, I have this book, it just came out. You have to go to the conventions on your own dime and make sure that people know what it is about. It's not the publisher's problem, it's creator owned. So it comes with a price, and the price is you're independent, but you have to give all this extra work and all these ancillary things that are not creation. Are you ready for that? A lot of people think that, oh, I want to keep everything, I want to keep all the rights, and it's like, it's not that easy. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard because nobody's waiting for you. And you have to hear that. When you're working for a big company, you're working for a brand. When you're working for yourself, you are also working for a brand, but a brand that nobody knows yet, nobody cares about yet. And if you consider that the best brand is your brand, you are wrong. Nobody's waiting for you, but you have an advantage. You are the brand. The creators are the brand. So if you, for example, and I want to add that there are very different type of treatments. If you started and built your career at the studios and then you switch to creator-owned, it's easier. But if you started with creator-owned, it can be trickier. It can be amazing. Like we've seen creators who published a creator-owned comics and then overnight became a sensation because the talent was there, the timing was there, everything was there, and it's possible. And I don't want to say it's not possible, it is possible. It's just going to be harder because there's a lot of white noise, there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of space there, which is trusted by the studios and the other midfield publishers who also want to have a piece of that pie. So, and this is where the other type of deal comes. And the other type of deal is the creator shared deal. You have studios like Boom Studios, like IDW, like Dark Horse, Aftershock, Humanoids. A lot of those studios offer those kind of creator shared deal. Those creator shared deal is kind of the best of both worlds, as in you will have a page rate. That means that you will be paid to create instead of putting everything out of your pocket or not being paid for a year until the money from the book comes back. So, but you will have to give up a portion of your rights, of your IP rights, of your media rights. And I mean, the separation of rights will be another video that I will probably create, but like you will have to give up a portion of the rights. My gut is that it's better to give away 30 to 50% of someone that exists and becomes a success than 100% of nothing. And I'm a huge defender of creator-owned books. Like I created my company FairSquare Comics because I wanted to keep the rights, but I also learned the hard way that it comes with a price, and not everyone is ready to pay that price. Not everyone is ready to have like double, triple, quadruple shifts just for one book. It's not worth it sometimes. And you also have to look at it with a fresh pair of eyes, which is, okay, maybe this IP will go in a creator shared environment. Maybe this IP I will keep for myself. Maybe the right way of doing things is just not to have this kind of stance like where it's a dogma, like, oh, I'm only doing creator owned or I'm only doing studio. No, you have to consider that some IPs, some of your books might be better suited as creator shared. Some others might be better suited as creator owned. The riskier projects will always be creator owned because, you know, you have to compromise on stuff. The minute you have a publisher coming there and say, hey, we're interested in your IP, they will have a word to say because they will own 50% of it or more or less, but they will own a piece of it. Now, where I would be extremely cautious, and that's what I always say to my fellow creators who want to venture and go on that route, is hold the publishers accountable. And that's the main thing. If you are going to give away a piece of your creation, and that creation is everything to you, you have to make sure that the publisher who is going to take a piece of it earns it, fights for it, puts the money on marketing, puts the money in retail, does advertising, helps themselves and you take this IP to the next level. And that's the highest, that's the main problem that we're facing right now, is that there's a lot of creations, there's a lot of content, there's a lot of everything. And some publishers get away with a lot of stuff. So as creators, we have to be cautious. We have to make sure that the publishers are respecting their end of the deal. And as creators, we have to be perfect. Not perfect. wrong choice of word. We have to be responsible. And we have to provide creation on time. We have to bring our A game in terms of quality. We have to give the publisher everything that they need so that the offer is irresistible. This offer can't be refused. So, bottom line, creator-owned is not for everybody, and you have to be aware of that, and you have to be honest with yourself. Can you take it? Do you have the support system around you to help you when you're going to be down and people are going to be like, oh, we're not interested in your book, or we're not interested in you? Worse. Well, you have to be fully equipped and really strong to handle that. And it doesn't, like, it's not related to talent. Sometimes you have a huge talent. You're just not that person. You're not the salesman. You're not the entrepreneur. You're not the person who is going to handle everything. The same thing, like, if you're a creator, you're not necessarily an editor. You will need an editor. You will need someone to look over your shoulder to make sure that you're making the right choices in your own interest. I mean, I'm an editor, I'm a creator. Every time I do a creator-owned, I hire an editor because that editor will see things that I never see myself. And that's healthy. Separation of power, separation of labor, call it whatever you want. But clearly you have, when you are going to start a venture as a comic book creator, or you are an established comic book creator and you're like, oh, I'd be interested in doing creator only, looks cool. You have to ask yourself those questions. Are you ready? Thanks for watching. If you like the content of the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, share it, love it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.